show with no namers. Can I get an amen? Now, how about a hallelujah? That's right. It's show with no name time. Ready for liftoff? 10, 9, come on, count down with me. 5, you know the rest. Come on.
1.
Yeah.
Ignition. Liftoff.
We got this, baby.
30 minutes after the hour.
Come on. Get up there.
Get ready. Hold on to your hats. Strap on your seatbelt. Fasten your seatbelts. Hold on to your hats. Get ready for the ride of your life. The show with no name time.
On Von Radio. Let's go. Welcome, amigos. Welcome to another exciting edition of the show with no name. Thank you for joining us every day, every week, every month of the year, year after year, decade after decade. Thank you. I can't thank you enough. And I thank you on behalf of all of us. En nombre de, si no te la sabes, apúntala. On behalf of. La L es muda, no behalf. Behalf. Say it aloud. On behalf of all of us here at Von Radio, I want to give you a big thank you. Thank you so much for learning English with us, for laughing with us, for hanging out with us at the book fair. And I think the proof is in the pudding. You are our ambassadors, nuestros embajadores. You are the reason Vaughn keeps growing. Why? People hear you, people see you, and they see your confidence in English, and they're blown away. Pasmados, se quedan pasmados, I think you say. They're absolutely blown away. And that's when, people say, wow, look at you. Unbelievable. You're doing your English thing. And most of all, whether you make mistakes or not, because we all make mistakes, the most important thing is you're speaking with confidence. And that's when you say, have you heard of Von Radio? And that's how we grow, as you grow.
¿Te gustaría abrir puertas a nuevas oportunidades y estar listo para cualquier desafío? Con el máster de inglés del Grupo Vaughan podrás transformar tu futuro. Este programa intensivo te ayudará a dominar el inglés profesional, perfeccionar tu comunicación y ganar la confianza que necesitas para conseguir tus objetivos. Nuestros profesores Vaughan especializados te prepararán para afrontar en inglés todas las situaciones de comunicación en un entorno profesional. No dejes que el inglés sea una barrera. Invierte en tu futuro con el máster de inglés profesional del Grupo Vaughan. Llámanos al 91-133-5833 o entra en grupovaughan.com.
That's right, grupovon.com. Also, make sure you're following us on social media, and you'll know about all our upcoming events, such as the book fair. You'll also know about discounts on courses and materials. And speaking of materials, I think it's time to take a look at today's pop quiz. Come on now. Let's go. Pop quiz. What's it called? Remind me. Pop quiz. That's right. Now I remember. Thanks for reminding me. Remind and remember. Hands up. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Pop quiz. Welcome to your pop quiz here on the show with no name and amigos. Again, this is where I get to teach you some content, and it's a grab bag for me too. A grab bag. Una caja de sorpresas. How do you say this? Let's look it up. A grab bag, and I'll explain the concept. Una caja sorpresa. But it's also a grab bag is when everybody brings in something different to school and everybody gets to take something with them. It's like a secret Santa as well. You say amigo invisible, this kind of idea. So a grab bag, you never know. It's of a wide variety. You never know what you're going to get. Right here it says caja de sorpresa, because literally, I guess the idea is back in the day, everybody would throw everything into the bag, and then you would grab something without looking from the bag, and maybe you brought in a He-Man a figurine, and a friend brought in a Slinky, just imagine toys, and you would grab something from the bag, and well, everybody went home with something new, a grab bag. So yeah, great caja de sorpresas. And you know why? Because of course I'm familiar with all the phrasal verbs, but there's a lot of content. So if I'm going to do take something from maybe one of our phrasal verb books, well, it could be chapter 8, it could be chapter 25, it could be chapter 30. So I don't even know what's coming. Obviously, I give it a listen before I bring it to you. This way, I know what I want to extract, because the 3 questions that I ask you for our pop quiz, there's a strategic reason for them. I'm testing you on certain structures, or I want to highlight a certain pronunciation or common mistake. As you know, I use this expression, the show seems chaotic, parece caos, y lo es muchas veces, but there is a method to my madness, and most of you see it. I reveal it. As the show goes on, we reveal more and more details, and now you're like, oh, now I know why he did those words as today's double trouble. So as much as learning English, I like that too, where you guys can pick up on different clues, right? Pillar algunas pistas. You can pick up on different clues throughout the show that'll maybe help you in another section. So as you know, and to sum it up with one of my favorite idiomatic expressions, there's a method, y vamos a pronunciar esa palabra en voz alta porque muchos lo pronuncian mal. No es method, method. It's almost like id, right? There's a method to my madness. And for some reason, I always feel like you have to insert evil laugh here. Although, but it just sounds like something Dick Dastardly would say. Hey, Dick Dastardly, we looked at him in my trivia night. Dick Dastardly. You call him Pierre no doy ni una or something? No doy una? No doy una? We call him Dick Dastardly. And the word dastardly, wow, we're looking at a lot of vocabulary already. A grab bag, dastardly, cruel. And that word we say, but we don't pronounce it like that. Just think of Elvis. Don't be cruel to a heart that's true. I don't want no other love, baby. It's just you I'm thinking of. Just imagine the word without the E. Not cruel, sino en inglés cruel. Cruel. O sea, la E fuera, como si no estuviera así. Ahora, cuando lo vas a escribir, escríbelo bien, pero cuando lo visualizas a la hora de decirlo, táchalo. Tacha la E, porque es como la I de friend. Friend o friend. Quita la I en tu cabeza, en tu when you see the word, you already know how to spell it. So forget about the spelling now. In fact, that's the problem. Most people know how to spell the words and not pronounce them. So now you need to think of a second image in your head when you hear the word. and make it be that one. Whatever. It can be removing a letter, or well, it's pronounced more like this. And yeah, so that's why we do homophones. That's why we do all these sections where we're playing with words and understanding those little nuances, los matices. All right, so today we're going to listen to audio from Expresiones en Inglés, just one of the many materials available at the Von Tienda. Expresiones en Inglés. And what is one of the greatest things about idiomatic expressions? Well, idiomatic expressions help you be really succinct. They also help you be very specific, right, with something. And they're relatable. That's number 3. No, todo el mundo, claro, es cuando pasa eso. Like, when in Rome, donde vieres, haz lo que fuere. Donde fueres, haz lo que vieres. Siempre lo digo al revés ese, right? And the last thing, and wow, lots of bonuses to knowing idiomatic expressions, you really feel like you're in the club, right? Cuando sueltas algo así nativo, y dices, mira, and they look at you too like, wow, okay, he's in the loop, or she's in the loop. Está al tanto. And even me, as a 47-year-old, if I don't listen to podcasts, if I don't watch videos on YouTube with young people, I would be lost too, because obviously there's the language, the part that doesn't change, but also the language is constantly evolving. And we all know teenagers take the language and they do whatever they want with it. And that's that way in whatever language and all throughout history. But that's the good thing. It's a flexible thing, less in the case of Spanish than in English. But English is alive and kicking. Toma, expresión. It's alive and kicking. You say vivito y coleando? Is that the expression? See, I want to be in your club too. All right, let's listen to this audio. And as always, I will have some challenges for you afterwards.
At a snail's pace.
A paso de tortuga. El coche delante de mí estuvo yendo todo el camino a paso de tortuga.
The car in front of me was going at a snail's pace the whole way.
El proyecto era tan complicado que tuvimos que trabajar a paso de tortuga para asegurarnos de hacerlo bien.
The project was so complicated that we had to work at a snail's pace to make sure we got it right. At all cost. At all costs.
A toda costa. Cueste lo que cueste. Él quería que se hiciera a toda costa, incluso si ello significaba perder la empresa.
He wanted it done at all costs, even if it meant losing the company.
Tenemos que evitar a toda costa que ella descubra lo que estamos haciendo.
We need to avoid at all cost her finding out what we are doing. At cross purposes.
Un diálogo de besugos. Una conversación de besugos. Parece que hemos tenido una conversación de besugos. Yo estaba hablando del 25.
It seems we've been talking at cross purposes. I was talking about the 25th.
Constantemente tienen diálogos de besugos y es muy frustrante.
They're constantly talking at cross purposes and it's so frustrating. At the crack of dawn.
Pegarse un madrugón. De madrugada. Tenemos que pegarnos un madrugón, así que calla y duérmete.
We have to be up at the crack of dawn, so be quiet and go to sleep.
Con un viaje de 8 horas en coche por delante, salieron de madrugada.
With an 8-hour drive ahead of them, they left at the crack of dawn. At the drop of a hat.
En un santiamén. En un abrir y cerrar de ojos. No puedo simplemente hacer lo que él dice en un abrir y cerrar de ojos. Necesito un poco de preaviso.
I can't just do whatever he says at the drop of a hat. I need a little notice.
Ella es muy de fiar. Vendría en un santiamén.
She's very reliable. She would come at the drop of a hat.
Listen carefully. Can you hear that? No. Listen closer. I'm not talking about the birds chirping. I'm talking about everybody speaking English and feeling comfortable. Listen. This is what it's like at Von Town, a peaceful place where you can really learn English and lose your inhibitions. There's a reason it's one of our star programs. Vaughan Town. Lose your fear of speaking English. If you want more information about this immersive experience, go to grupovaughn.com or give us a call, 911-385831. Lose your fear of speaking English and express yourself with clarity at Vaughan Town. More information about Vaughan Town, our masters, our summer camps, whatever it is you might be interested in, even whether it's materials, store hours, horas de operación que estamos abiertos, addresses, la dirección, a lot of that stuff you can get if you just go to grupovaughn.com. All of you who are on social media too, make sure you're following us, because aside from getting awesome content, you'll be in the know. And if you're following us, you'll know we're smack dab in the middle of the book fair. La Feria del Libro Madrid, something we eagerly look forward to every year. Yeah, it's the book fair. It's a special time. It's a magical time when we get to meet you. So stop by, pásate, stop by stand 309. El puesto es 309, and we'll be there. I think, let me check the calendar. I believe the last day of the book fair is June 15th. This is 2025, by the way, if you're listening to a repeat. So June 15th, you have until and including June 15th, which is a Sunday, 2025. If I'm not mistaken, Richard Vaughan will be there that last day. So you still have a chance to meet the man himself, Richard Vaughan. You still have a chance to get a 10% discount on any of our materials. But right after that, the 16th, the deal is done. So make the most of it, especially if you live in Madrid. You've got another 5 days to get to Feria del Libro. Again, the stand is 309. All right, my amigos. Well, we were listening to some totally native idiomatic expressions. If you didn't know them, definitely incorporate them into your lexicon. The first one, or I'm not going to go in order, but some of the ones that I selected, I didn't choose all of them, but some of the ones I want to highlight, because I guess for me, they're like the ones you need to know. Out of those, which you need, I mean, they're all very common, but I've chosen the most common out of those. So, a primera hora, let's test you on these. These don't put these in the pop quiz yet, not in the comments. This is just to test you, just to warm up, all right? To get our creative juices flowing, as we say. All right. Me levanté, me levanto, porque me suelo levantar. No, vamos con eso. Me suelo levantar a primera hora. I usually get up at the crack of dawn, right? Muy temprano. A primera hora de la mañana, I'll do it first thing in the morning, not the first thing. So, vamos a dos muy comunes. At the crack of, tan importante el at como el crack, porque no es in the crack of dawn or on the crack of dawn. Ya ahí la gente dice, se lo sabe, pero realmente no. That's when they're like, he's pretending he's in the club. So don't underestimate the power of those little prepositions, those pesky, que molestan, lo sé. They're pesky prepositions. So I woke up, or as I said, let's stick with the example I said. I usually wake up at the crack of dawn. Wake up. Fíjate, el sonido K, C, eso va con el up. I usually, and I didn't say used to, because used to is yo antes. I used to wake up later. But now I usually wake up. Dilo conmigo, wake up. I usually wake up at the crack of dawn. Okay? How would you say this one? Él cambió de opinión en un santiamén. He changed, we wouldn't say, I've heard it, but it's not as common. He changed his opinion. A lot easier. He changed his mind. Y quitamos muchas sílabas ahí. He changed his mind. And you can also say, esta es más larga, pero es poética. He had a change of heart. No, su corazón cambió. So he changed his mind at the drop of a hat. O sea, otra vez, el at tan importante como drop and hat y el the. Porque it's not at a drop of a hat, it's at the drop of a hat. Entonces, cuando te digo una expresión, apúntalo tal como lo oyes, porque es importante cada pieza. Es como cambiar la letra. I can't get any satisfaction. Me acabas, te acaba. I'm sure your ears just bled. Te acaban de salir sangre, ¿no? Porque, claro, y aunque es gramáticamente correcto, la canción no es así. Y ese matiz cambia todo. Ya es como, no se sabe la canción. So, again, getting the preposition wrong will make him think, oh, maybe he doesn't know it. Or she doesn't know it. When I say he, I always mean she. So, at the drop of a hat, in the blink of an eye. Mira, ya cambiamos preposición, right? He changed his mind in the blink of an eye, right? Another one we say, in no time. In no time. En un santiamén. Okay? So you've got a couple different ways to say it, totally native ways to say it. All right, so let's take a look at the ones I've got for you. Number 1 in today's pop quiz, they said at a snail's pace. That's a great one. No? A ritmo de caracol. It makes sense, right? At a snail's pace. We also use snails. I mean, I think you say the same thing here in Spain. When we think of slow, we think of snails, right? De hecho, cuando decimos correo ordinario, we call it snail mail, right? Snail mail. All right, well, give me another way to say slow. We've got at a snail's pace. Si no lo has apuntado, el at otra vez, tan importante como snail. At a snail's pace, okay? Now I want you to give me, because I know you know the word slow. It's a common adjective to know. You just learned at a snail's pace. Give me another way to say it. All right? And this is great because you guys are very creative, and I know we're going to see a lot of different ways to say very slow. So we'll learn many different ways. And as always, the weight of each one. Este es más informal, este es más poético. Como digas este, te van a mirar raro. You know, these things count too, you know? All right, the next one, they said at all costs. I mean, that one, como en español, a todo coste. Well, guess what? There are other ways to say it. There are a couple. I've written down 2 over here in the script. En el guión tengo 2, pero seguro que hay más, ¿eh? Y ahora los vamos a ver. But I want to see what you come up with. Remember, also, I don't have to tell you this, but you know this. The examples you use, make them real. Make it something que es lentísimo para ti. La burocracia, el tráfico en la M30. Make it real. Make it real. Then you're not just saying, estoy aprendiendo una expresión como ir lento. No, ¿qué en tu vida provocaría que dijeras esa expresión? That is the part a lot of times we're missing. How do I make this expression my own? Where? It just takes another minute, not even, it takes another 10 seconds to say, ¿y dónde aplicaría yo esta expresión? Que sería diferente para Cristina, que Born to Iron Man, que Anix, que Laura, right? So, or maybe not. Maybe we all agree. And that's the perfect example. So, again, put some thought into that. To put some thought into it, piénsalo bien, tu ejemplo, porque para ser prácticos, usa uno que usarías, que para ti es lentísimo. ¿En qué momento usarías a todo coste? A todo coste. ¿Ves? Me cuesta en español. En inglés es at all costs. Es plural. At all costs. But I want another way to say it. Pase lo que pase. A todo coste. I want you to give me that and, pues, voy a aprender inglés. Te puedo dar el ejemplo. Pase lo que pase. A todo coste. Me da igual que venga tormentas. Las capearé. I'll weather the storm. And the last one, I want you to use a structure. Because I know a lot of people, we heard the word avoid, evitar, and it is a real word. Of course it is. Are you avoiding me? I feel like you're avoiding me. All right. But a lot of times when we use it in the structure, no puedo evitar hacer tal cosa, decir tal cosa, pues ahí we don't say avoid. In fact, it sounds weird. We use another structure. So quiero que tú, que es algo que no puedes evitar hacer. And this way, we know you're not just practicing this very common structure, but also you're personalizing it. All right. So, number one, another way to say really slow. Number two, another way to say at all costs. And the last one, no puedo evitar, y you can fill in the blank. All right, my amigos, we are gonna take a quick commercial break right now. When we come back, we'll take a look at your answers. We've got our Say What soundbite as well. So much to do here on the show. Thank you so much for joining us, and stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back to part 2 of today's show with No Name here on Vaughn Radio. Don't forget, your morning is full of excitement because you're with my friends. That's right. You're with my friends. You can start your day with one of my best buds, Rob's Grams. I said Rob's. Rob Grams. Also, you got Fitz. 2 awesome dudes who are going to teach you real English, not that fake shit. No way. No freaking way. They're going to teach you the real deal. And Rob, being from the north of England, that's kind of the hardest accent to, at least for me, as a native English speaker, to follow. You know? That also Eastern London. You're like, excuse me? Could you just say a full syllable? But that's the way people talk. That's what makes it awesome. I mean, that's what I've always loved, hearing all different accents in my own language. In Spanish. You know, you can't even compare accents in Spain. A Sevillano versus a Gallego or Burgalés? Do they sound like they're coming from the same continent? Not even the same continent. Forget about the same country. But that, again, is what makes it beautiful. That's what makes it a cultural thing. That's what makes it musical. So, folks, we're going to kick things off right now with our Say What soundbite. Yes. Say what? Yes. Yes. Oh, yeah. All right, folks, tune your ears, fine-tune your ears, because as always, you're going to hear a different accent today than the one you heard yesterday and the day before. In fact, I make a point of it. I make sure it's not only Americans. It's not only British. We hear Australians. Sometimes we hear Spanish people speaking English. Well, English is spoken by people on every continent. So lots of people use the language. It's the official language of aviation. It's the official language of many, parliaments and business. And man, I never realized it. You think when I was a kid, I knew that? I mean, a kid's born, like it's as if I were being taught Swahili. How do I know the difference? I've got nothing to compare it to. Until people start saying, oh, you speak English and Spanish? Wow. And I said, oh, yeah? That's a cool thing? People like, oh, yeah, they're two widely spoken languages around the world. And I was like, oh, yeah? Really? Yeah. But again, for me, I was just repeating what my parents said. Think about the simplicity of a child's brain. Well, we think they probably think more than us. But you know what I mean? A child doesn't know this is English, that's Chinese, this is not until they're a little bit older and they start to use reason and understand, the language. Not just speak it, but understand it, which is step one. My daughter spent about 2 years before she started speaking. Most kids, right? 2, 3 years, 2.5. Then you get words. Then you get sentence. Well, then you get like half sentences, little mistakes in there that are actually cute. And then you get full sentences. Then you get questions, and the questions don't stop. Again, that's what we want. We want them to be curious. And then you get paragraphs and diatribes, which my daughter, she can go on for hours in English or Spanish. But it didn't happen overnight. It started with her listening, absorbing. And finally she said, oh, I think I can say that. I'm going to try. And I'm going to try now and make it a little bit longer. Now, again, none of this was done consciously. This is the natural way, right? That's what makes the Vaughn method so amazing. We use, you're listening, you're hearing, the teacher says it, then tells you to say it, then tells you to ask the person next to you, then tells you to answer the question. And until you don't just know, it's not like you've seen it written. You can write it in your notebook. And I urge my students, because sometimes when we write things down, the odds of remembering them go up. But if I have a choice, I would prefer you didn't write it down and you just said it. Now, if you had to choose, si tuviésemos que elegir. But also writing things, if you do both, you are definitely doing it right. You write it down like before. At the crack of dawn. Y pones tu ejemplo. I woke up at the crack of dawn. Y como veas, es I woke up, es una parte, and at the crack of dawn, como siempre va junto, es su propia rafaguilla. Again, there's that musical element that we're talking about over there. All right, my amigos, I've got to give you the Say What soundbite. I think it's going to be pretty easy today. I will warn you, there's vulgarity in it. There's a bad word. But sometimes they come out because, well, they're part of the language too. And I generally don't like to use offensive language, but as a teacher, I feel like I'm doing you an injustice by not teaching you that. Because shit is not only caca, shit is the shit, it is la bomba, right? So again, those nuances, it's not just black and white. Well, shit es mierda. Okay, sí, en algunos casos, right? Sometimes it means the best thing since sliced bread. Eso es una otra expresión que usamos. All right, my amigos, let's listen to this. Here it is for the first time.
Somebody, for the love of God, what the fuck did that guy do? What did he do? He told other people what to invent? I want my entire music collection in that phone. Get on it!
All right, there you go, folks. Obviously, it's not from a drama, right? But I'm curious today if you guys know where that accent is from. It's a very, very particular, very well-known accent in the, well, I won't say, well, I think you know where. I think you've got the country. But today, if we can maybe even guess what part of my country, I'll tell you, he's from North America. But if you're able to catch those little nuances of his accent, that little dialect that they got going on. All right, here it is. I'll give it to you a second time, and then we can discuss it.
Somebody, for the love of God, what the fuck did that guy do? What did he do? He told other people what to invent? I want my entire music collection in that phone. Get on it!
Hey, Damian, what's crack-a-lackin', buddy?
Hey, Alberto, I was planning to do some sports this week. What about playing baseball?
Ooh, baseball. I love it. But I'm not sure yet. Can we touch base next week?
Touch base. Estamos en contacto, ¿no? Hablamos en algún momento. Yeah, okay. Let's touch base. Okay, what about basketball? Do you want to play basketball?
Oh, man, I love basketball. It's one of my favorite sports. But I don't know if I can this weekend because I've already got plans. Oh, man, that's the way the ball bounces.
That's the way the ball bounces. Así están las cosas, ¿no? Así bota la pelota. Así bota la pelota. That's the way the ball bounces. I love that expression. Okay, what about tennis? Do you want to play tennis?
Well, I love tennis, but I'm not really a good player. If you don't mind playing with a novice, the ball's in your court, buddy.
La bola está en mi campo, ¿eh? La pelota está en mi tejado. All right. Do you want to play some soccer?
Sure, I'd love to play some soccer or football, as you call it. What time do we kick off?
Perfect. We're kicking off at 9. Are you available?
Sure, but I might have to play some golf before with some friends. It's par for the course.
It's par for the course. Es lo normal, ¿no? Es lo normalito, lo que se hace.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, what about billiards? Do you like playing billiards?
Yeah, but right now I'm behind the 8 ball.
I'm behind the 8 ball. Estás detrás de la bola 8, como que llevas las de perder.
Yeah, wow, a lot of idiomatic expressions here.
Muy buenas expresiones. Si es que así de gusto aprender inglés con un profe como Alberto y un poquito de creatividad, tienes This Book is the Shit. El mejor libro para aprender inglés que te has echado a la cara in your life. Píllatelo, vas a disfrutar mogollón de dibujos para que lo aprendas todo fácil, con conexiones lógicas y divertidas. Es la manera más sencilla y más divertida de aprender inglés. No te la pierdas.
Damian, you're such a good sport. Te enrollas. You can pick up your copy of This Book is the Shit at
vaughantienda.com.
It's the shit.
That's right, folks. vaughantienda.com. You can pick up This Book is the Shit. There's a perfect example of where shit is a good thing. Not shit, the shit. So as I said before, usamos una expresión, the devil's in the details. O sea, el demonio está en los detalles. Los detalles cuentan mucho. Te puedes perder o te puedes pillar en los detalles. The devil is in the details. All right, let's see, folks. We've got a lot of people participating here in our group. A nice round of applause to everyone for joining us, for your effort. We've got Open Waters checking in. Good morning, Open Waters. He says, good morning, friends. What's up, buddy? Great to have you with us. Another amazing day where we can conquer the world together. There's David, and he says, good morning, Alberto and mates. Good morning to you, sir. A pleasure to have you with us. Born to Iron Man. How are you doing, friends? Great. Now that you're here, great to have you on board. There's the lovely Anix. Anix says, good morning. Rise and shine. Esto es a despertarse. Vamos a... You know, it's a very nice, loving way to say, good morning. Wake up. I love it. Rise and shine. Born to Iron Man says, Pierre no doy una, and his dog Patan. Oh, that's funny. Well, his dog in English, Dick Dastardly, as I said, that's his name. And his dog's name was Muttley. Muttley. Now, a mutt or a mongrel is un perro callejero con muchas, right? Like una mezcla. A mutt. So that's why his name is in Bentley. So it's like a play on words of a name, a formal name, but mutt, the dog is a mutt. Okay. And that word is with 2 T's. Muttley. All right. Muttly. And Patan is funny. The other day I was on the subway with my wife and my daughter, and we passed the metro station Patan. Patan is where con B, is where Parque de Atracciones de Madrid is. And so we passed Patan, and I said to my wife, isn't there like an insult in English which is Patan with a P? And she said, yeah. It's like clumsy. I'm like, uh-huh. But I didn't realize that Patan was the dog's name. So thank you, Born to Iron Man. Always learning, even from cartoons, hasta de los dibujos animados. All right, hablando de animados, we've got Chris animando la fiesta, livening up our party. And she says, morning show with no namers from my parents' place. Hey, as Dorothy said in The Wizard of Oz, there's no place like home. Como en casa, ningún sitio. And she says, from my parents' place, I'll try to participate as much as I can. There are many living beings around here. Well, that's good. I'm glad they're all alive and kicking. Good morning to you. All right, Open Waters. Open Waters has got something to say about today's pop quiz. And he says, bureaucrats, cuidado con como lo has deletreado. Es bureau. It's a French word. Hasta yo no sé o sea, búscalo porque creo que es incorrecto. Bueno, te lo busco si quieres. But either way, you're the one who's got to visualize it. Let me see. It's a word that is very difficult to spell. Bureaucrat. Okay, are you ready? Lo voy a decir a la española. Bureaucrat. So it's bureaucrat, but we say bureaucrat. So careful with the spelling. Has puesto a la española there. But again, no me pidas que te lo deletree en inglés, okay? Otra vez, tengo excusa porque viene de francés. All right, so bureaucrats are slower than molasses. Excellent. Es muy común. Or as slow as, tan lento como, as slow as molasses. And I believe molasses is melaza. It's like a syrup, right? Come on, man. You're as slow as molasses. Excellent. Open Waters. It's true. Bureaucrats. Oh, and why? Because, well, the longer it takes, the more money we all know how that works. All right. Great example, Open Waters. And I believe everybody can get behind that one, right? The next one, I'm going to improve my English come hell or high water. First, a totally native, and then an applause. Wow, buddy. Come hell, que venga al infierno, un incendio, or high water, que es a flood, inundación. O sea, da igual, que se queme el mundo. Come hell or high water. Well, I'll tell you what, you're not just saying that, you're living it, Open Water, so keep up the great work. I'm going to improve my English. What an example. Come hell or high water. And we don't doubt you for a second. Let's see the next one. You want me to sing, don't you? For I can't help falling in love with you. Yeah, why not use an example, So we don't say I can't avoid. No. I can't help. Y fíjate, el verbo es ing. So I can't help eating brownies. I love them. I can't stop. It's not true, but I'm just using an example. Bueno, mi ejemplo sería the jamón chips. Las patatas fritas de jamón, sabor jamón. Oh, those are dangerous. Once you pop, you can't stop. And not the Pringles ones. No voy a decir la marca. But again, I don't eat that stuff. I can't help enjoying it. but we try not to bring it into the house. And that's a good way to avoid it. Mira, ¿ves? I can't help it. No puedo evitar cierta comportamiento, right? I can't avoid it. No puedo evitar. Es algo que necesito. See how we use them a little bit differently there. All right. Excellent job, Open Waters. Let's see. Born to Iron Man says, dealing with red tape is moving at a snail's pace. Great. So dealing with, and he used a very similar example. I'm going to give you a totally native too. Red tape is bureaucracy. So dealing with red tape moves or is moving at a snail's pace. Quite dully, buddy. And dully, let's take a look at dully. I haven't heard that one, but maybe dully? I don't know dully. That's a weird one. Well, I know it reminds me of another one, to dilly-dally. Let's check out dully. De manera aburrida. Okay. Yeah, okay. It's kind of, lo primero que pensé era dilly-dally, que es perder el tiempo, ¿no? Marear la perdiz. Stop dilly-dallying, we're going to be late. Mi madre me dijo eso 1,5 million de veces. And dully viene de la palabra dull, aburrido. So it's linked, pero me quedo con el primero. It moves at a snail's pace, right? And dull means aburrido, which, of course, if something is slow, if something is boring, it moves slowly. The opposite, the antithesis of the show with no name. All right, let's see the next one. Whatever it takes, I'll keep listening to the show with no name because I can't help doing it every day. Excellent examples, fellas. Wow. And very flattering. Me siento halagado. Thank you. I'm so glad that you're hooked on the show. Well, I'm hooked on teaching you guys. I can't even imagine my life without teaching you guys every morning. It's something I've been doing for over 15 years. Not teaching 20, but in front of a microphone. And then the video part, well, that came a bit later on, but it doesn't matter how. You can watch, you can listen, whatever you prefer. The important thing is that you vocalize, que hables en voz alta, las cosas que oyes, right? Los homófonos, las cosas que te parecen un poco, what? Eso es el momento, right? When you're like, what did he just say? That's when I say it again, because I usually repeat a word 2 or 3 times, so you can get it on one of those repeats, right? All right. Excellent examples. Born to Iron Man. Chris Valrol says, some issues are better at a slow pace. There you go. Yes, slow pace. The next one, no matter what, I'll try to write this sentence. No matter what, pase lo que pase. And the next one, I can't help it. I'm hooked on, enganchada. I'm hooked on the show. Wow. Really wonderful job, everybody. So yeah, a couple other ones. We said at a snail's pace. We said as slow as molasses. Another one, sluggish. Esta la usamos bastante. Sluggish. Come on, man. You are sluggish. Y si buscas la raíz, slug es una babosa. So it's linked to a snail. Same idea, right? Come on, man. This is sluggish. De hecho, una frase célebre de la película Airplane, que es aterriza como puedas en español. They say, what's going on up there? They're moving sluggish like a wet sponge. Es frase hecha. O sea, como también piénsalo, una esponja mojada, like it's not, right? Sluggish. So that's a really good one too. Let's see some other ones. Slow moving, slow paced, sluggish, crawling, que gatea. Man, that meeting just crawled on. It was never ending. It was slow, right? What else can we say? Oh, look, dilly-dallying. Yeah, man. Stop. Esta lo usamos más para una persona que está como, no está aprovechando el tiempo bien. Come on, my daughter. But that's what a 5-year-old does. They dilly-dally. Lara, let's brush our teeth. Well, Daddy, I got to finish drawing this picture. I'm like, You want to start drawing. I told you to draw at 5 p.m. Now it's 9, and you want to start drawing now. I think you are trying to distract me, young lady. You're dilly-dallying. To dilly-dally. Great one. And then always remember the very useful, the wild card, el comodín, AF. As fuck. Yeah. O sea, si yo pongo, my cousin is slow, AF. AF is as fuck, de cojones. Hey, you want a totally native? De hecho, lo vi, I think it was in Fridays, one of these burger chains. And they said the big AF burgers. Y le pregunté al camarero, digo, ¿sabes lo que es AF, no? Dice, sí, digo, ¿y los niños? You know, because you have kids. As fuck? I don't know. You know, among adults, I guess there's no problem. So you can add AF to anything. Man, it is hot AF. It is hot as fuck. Right? De cojones. No, muchísimo. Es meterle un ísimo al final. Also, at all costs, we said come hell or high water. Great example from our amigo Open Waters. We said no matter what, pase lo que pase. Also, by hook or by crook. By hook or by crook. Como sea. Another one, come rain or shine. Tenéis 5 formas de decirlo. O 6 puede ser ya. We'll be there come rain or... O sea, que llueva, que haga, da igual el tiempo. Independientemente del tiempo, estaremos, right? Pase lo que pase. Come rain or shine, come hell or high water. Son parecidas en estructura, esas dos. And I can't help it. No lo puedo evitar si lo decimos sin decir el verbo. Hay que poner el it. I don't know, man. I can't help it. I love this place. No, porque a veces no dirías I can't help loving this place, porque love first is a non-action verb, right? So you can't use it in that. So I can't help it, man. No lo puedo evitar. I love this place. And guys, what can I say except wonderful job? I am thoroughly impressed, impresionado, concienzudamente, thoroughly impressed by your participation in the first half of today's show. The great news, we've got another hour up ahead, and it's action-packed, full of movies, music, jokes, birthday celebrations and challenges, and so much more. So if I were you guys, I wouldn't even think of going anywhere. Stick around. Hey amigos, welcome back to this, the second half of today's show with no name here on Vaughn Radio. Thank you for joining us today and every day, for your energy, for your drive, tu motivación. I've got to say, on behalf of all of us, we couldn't ask for better students. So thank you. And don't forget to tune in this afternoon. You've got the lunchtime show with Rob and Andy. After that, you've got Let's Get Random with Jules Linares. Don't forget about Ruby and her program as well. You've got The Salad with Dave Boys, Kyle Miller and Drive Time, Chris Frank, and Frankly Speaking. You've also got Richard Vaughn Live, the man himself. You can have class with Richard Vaughn every day here on Vaughn Radio. You've got Jessica Fernandez and the Hour to Empower. And right after our show here today, you've got Gretchen and her program, Speaking with, you know it, you want it, we all do, confidence. Download the free Vaughn Radio app and you can learn with us on the go. We're going to kick things off in this part of the show with our homophones. Then we'll listen to our Say What soundbite and read your comments as well. Then we've got our spelling bee and so much more up ahead, my amigos. So without any further ado, sin más, it's time for today's Homophones on the Show with No Name.
Homophones on the show with no name. It's homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. The show with no name. Homophones on the show with no name. Cause homophones time, cause homophones rhyme. They sound the same on the show with no name. 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 Show with no name. The show with no name.
That's right, amigos. It's homophones only on the show with no name. And here's where we look at those tricky words that sometimes throw my students off, que desconciertan a mis alumnos. And I get it because sometimes it's just a little nuance or it's a zzz instead of an s. So this is something we look at here. A lot of times we rhyme words with it too, because if you recognize the sound from another word, maybe you can apply it to the word that you're making a mistake with. The first word is a word you or anybody needs to know, and it's the past tense of the verb to be, and it's not was. It's the other form. There are two forms in the past tense of the verb to be. In the present, I am, you are, they are. Well, in the past tense, it's got two forms, all right? And it's not was. It's the other form of the past, right? Va en esta frase, yo que tú, if I, you, right? Or tú estabas ayer, you, here yesterday, okay? It's that form of the verb. And the second one is the question used in interrogatives, the question word, ¿dónde? So if you say, ¿dónde estabas, por ejemplo, would those two words sound the same? ¿Dónde estabas ayer? ¿Dónde estabas ayer? Would el verbo estar, que es la primera, y la pregunta, la interrogación, ¿dónde? Do they sound the same or not? I know you know both words, so today it's really a question of, do you pronounce them the same or not? Also, let me give you the Say What soundbite for the third time, amigos.
Somebody, for the love of God, what the fuck did that guy do? What did he do? He told other people what to invent? I want my entire music collection in that phone. Get on it!
¿Quieres estar al tanto de todas nuestras promociones en la Vaughan Esfera? Well, now you can be in the loop. Puedes estar al tanto. Puedes enterarte de ofertas, novedades y eventos. Y mucho más. Puedes encontrar todo eso en grupobaugan.com/cursos destacados. Eso es, en grupobaugan.com/cursos destacados. Ahí tendrás toda la información de última hora. Guárdalo como favorito. grupobaugan.com/cursos destacados. And stay in the loop.
That's right, folks. More information at our website, grupovon.com. Also, if you're following us on social media, then you'll know what we want you to know, such as our book fair at Stand 309. You can go up until the 15th of June, 2025. Get a 10% discount. Get a selfie and a signature with Richard Vaughn or any of my other amigos who will be there for the final weekend. Emphasis on final. Last chance, amigos. If you were thinking of going to the book fair, do it. We'd love to see you there, even though I won't be there. I know, there's no doubt in my mind that you'll be in good hands. I couldn't leave you in better hands than with my amigos. All right, let's take a look. We've got a lot of people participating over here in our Say What soundbite and our homophones. All right, well, let's start with the Say What soundbite. This way we go in order and your teacher doesn't get confused. Don't worry. I don't need very much to get confused. All right. I think I was born a bit confused. Okay, here we go. Open Waters. Open Waters says, I heard an American stand-up comedian. Correct. He's speaking about a guy who told people what to invent. And he cracks a joke about his record collection and maybe something like, get on it. All right, good ear. It is an American comedian. He is cracking a joke about somebody who told somebody to invent something. And he does say something about a record collection or a music collection. And the last expression is right. Get on it. Ponte con ello. Get on it. Si no te lo sabías, es una buena expresión. Get on it. Ponte con ello. Okay? So great. Excellent. Open Waters. Great ear. Anix says, I heard an American person. I can't tell if it's a man or a woman. It's a man. And I think he is from New York. I'll tell you what, Anix. It's the closest thing to a New York accent, but it's not New York. But it is the Northeast. And if you don't know, if your ear is not fine-tuned, I could see how you can mix it up with a New York accent, but it isn't. But I can see it because if you're not familiar with those little nuances, some of the things are pronounced the same. Okay, there's a certain similarity, although it has its differences from New York English. It's not New York, but it is the Northeast, and I could see how you would think that. So great job, great observation. She says it sounds like a speech, and he is talking about another man, and I forgot the rest of the speech. Well, you don't have to remember it, but great job. Just give me as much as you heard, and well, that's good. I think together we're all on the right track here. Chris Valrol says, I heard an American man who's wondering what a guy had done. He also mentioned something about his entire collection of music. I couldn't get it. Well, hopefully all right, let me give you a clue. It is a comedian, and he's talking about Steve Jobs. He's criticizing Steve Jobs. He's making fun of Steve Jobs because he's saying people worship him. Le alaban, no, yeah, the tech Jesus. Tienes que ver el sketch total de esta persona, es buenísimo. Ponte, después, cuando ya revelamos quién es, ponte este cómico y Steve Jobs. And he rips him. Le pone a parir, right? He rips him apart in this, and he's saying, yeah, what did he ever invent? So the butt of the joke is Steve Jobs. Okay, he's saying people praise him, but really he wasn't the brains behind the operation. Like, you know, so now maybe that'll give you a little bit of context now. Okay, maybe did that help you out? Give you a little boost, un aumento ahí de información. All right, well, either way, you are going to hear that another time, a fourth time, a little bit later on in the show. But guys, great, good ear. Oh, and I'll tell you now, so you can hear it the next 2 times and know it. The guy's from Boston. I left the car keys in the car by the bar. And in Nueva York, a veces, my sister, pero luego hay otros matices que no son iguales. Entonces, Anix, you said it because la omisión R neoyorquina es igual que la de Boston. Ahora, hay matices que ya dirías, oh, pero ¿cómo dice la A es diferente? You know, then if you listen carefully, you have them say the same sentences, you'll say, okay, there are similarities, but they are quite different. Again, if you grew up in the area, then you'll know it. You know who, Matt Damon? You want to hear a Boston accent? Matt Damon, Good Will Hunting, El Indominable Will. That, I mean, there's Boston right there. Mark Wahlberg. But again, remember, the actors aren't always doing a Boston accent. It has to be a story based in Boston for them to do a Boston accent, because Mark Wahlberg can do any accent, it seems. So make sure it's a Boston-based film. That's why I recommended Good Will Hunting, and see what you think of that Boston accent. We always make the joke of, I left the car keys by the bar in Harvard Yard. Right? Yeah, it's a lot of a lot of ah sound, the omission of the R. It is Boston. All right, but good. Northeast, Northeast. So great job over there. Good ear, amigos. All right, let's take a look. Born to Iron Man participating in our homophone section. And he gives us the 2 words, and he says they don't sound alike. All right, Open Water says they are not homophones. Anik says, I think they sound alike. Ooh, I like it. This is getting interesting. Chris says they're not homophones. All right, well, I'm going to say ¿dónde estabas? Las voy a decir fuera de orden. Voy a decir ¿dónde primero, que es la segunda palabra, y estabas, porque para usar una frase práctica. Where were you? Where, ¿dónde? Were you? Where were you? Dilo tú conmigo. Where were you? Where were you yesterday? Are they homophones? Nope. Because if not, it would be where. Ahora, where, ¿dónde? Sí que tiene homófono. Where did you wear that dress? ¿Dónde llevaste puesto ese vestido? Where did you wear that dress? Okay, but were doesn't sound like those. So, vamos a repetir la frase. Where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Okay, well, I was wearing... Ahí otra vez, llevar puesto, sí. Now, there is, I'll tell you what, we can give Anix credit here a little bit, because if you put W-E-R-E con la palabra lobo, pues sí que se pronuncia where. Hombre lobo, werewolf. O sea, you're all right. Claro, normalmente cuando está separado, no. Hey, is there a... In fact, I'm about to tell you, I'm sure we've looked at it before. One of the funniest jokes in a movie full of funny jokes. I'm talking about Young Frankenstein, right? So, vamos, ¿dónde estabas? Where were you? Okay, ¿cómo dirías? Estuve con el hombre lobo. I was with the werewolf. Y de ahí el chiste. If you remember, they're going up to the castle for the first time. You know, they got that cart. Young Frankenstein, jovencito Frankenstein. And you hear the howl of the wolf. And then Dr. Frankenstein says, werewolf. And then Igor answers, there, wolf. There, castle. And he looks at him and he says, why are you talking like that? He goes, oh, I thought you wanted to. Of course, he was saying hombre lobo, not donde lobo. So, Anix, I know that wasn't the example you were using, but it could be. Again, that is a rare case. It's just a different usage of it. Normally, it's were. Were rhymes with her, rhymes with stir, remover, right? Rhymes with fur, pelaje o piel. All right, wonderful job, amigos. What can I say? You guys are kicking ass and taking names. Kicking ass and taking names, as we say. But are you ready for the most challenging section on our show? I hope so. It's time for your spelling bee.
Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee. Spelling bee.
All right, my amigos, this is our spelling bee. This is round one. I know round one ain't easy. Para usar el slang, este sería isn't, pero muchos americanos dicen it ain't easy. It ain't easy. But let's see. You know why? Today we've even got some numbers in here. O sea, viene incluido con números y todo. So good luck. As you know, the first round is hell. It's hard AF. It's hard as fuck. Durísimo. Why? Because I go a mile a minute. I fly through it because I'm talking to native speakers, right? Okay, so here we go. The first one is BRITISH space AIRWAYS. The next one is FLIGHT space 5390. The next one is BIRMINGHAM space AIRPORT. The next one is MALAGA space AIRPORT. The next one, EXPLOSIVE space DECOMPRESSION. And the last one is SOUTHAMPTON space AIRPORT.
¿Qué tal vas de ánimo? ¿Necesitas un empujón? ¿Un poco de aliento? No sweat. No te preocupes. Pásate por vaughantienda.com y hazte con nuestro nuevo material multimedia. 365 días de wellness e inglés. Y viene de la mano de tu propio personal trainer profesional, David Gómez Agudo, conocido por sus miles de seguidores en las redes como Fitbull Coach. Trabajarás fitness, mindset, nutrición y por supuesto el inglés. Y viene con más de 250 vídeos para que entrenes junto con tu coach. Es un win-win. Haz que este año sea tu año, con 365 días de wellness e inglés.
All right, folks. Let's see. It looks like Born to Iron Man is taking a stab at it. And let's see. Born to Iron Man, I'm going to tell you right now as a disclaimer, esto de derechos, descargo de derechos, you say, I can't go any faster. So if you got it, you are definitely in another galaxy, amigo. All right, the first one is correct. The second one is also correct. So far, so good. The third one is correct. The fourth one is also correct. Ooh, this is getting good here. The fifth one's correct. And ladies and gentlemen, this guy is fast AF. Fast as fuck. Rápido de cojones. Give it up for Born to Iron Man. Unbelievable, dude. Seriously? I honestly can't go any faster if I tried. Maybe if we sped up the audio. A lo mejor voy a tener que hacer eso en el futuro. Pregrabarlo, darle a dos. You know, when you listen to a voice note, you listen to it on double speed. Well, that's what I'm going to have to do. Unbelievable, dude. Wow. All right. Well, guys, I'm going to do round two, and this is a fascinating story about an accident in midair, en el aire, a plane accident in midair. No digo un crash, un choque, un accidente, a mishap, un percance, and nobody died. And it's a miracle. This is one of the greatest stories in aviation history. You don't have to like planes to know this story and to enjoy this story. If you don't know it, again, anything you find interesting here on the show, I urge you to write down, vuelo tal, pues voy a investigarlo. Because, of course, there are full documentaries about this, and there are ones that are very technical and ones that just explain it to the layman, somebody who doesn't know about aviation. But it is fascinating nonetheless. All right, folks, let's do round two of today's Spelling Bee. I will slow down, but by no means will I go slow. Slow as molasses. All right, here we go. The first one is BRITISH space AIRWAYS. The next one, FLIGHT space 5390. The next one, BIRMINGHAM space AIRPORT. The fourth one, MALAGA space AIRPORT. The fifth one, EXPLOSIVE space DECOMPRESSION. And the last one is SOUTHAMPTON space AIRPORT. If you were paying attention, the word airport is in there 3 times. So if you saw that pattern, ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Chris as well. Born to Iron Man and Chris Valrol. Wow. Perfect job in today's Spelling Bee. And as I said, it is possibly one of the most interesting, fascinating tales of aviation. And basically, it was British Airways. Eso era número uno. British Airways. That was the airline. Number 2 was Flight 5390. We don't say 5390. Normally, in aviation, you got to say things very clearly. So Flight 5390, which was going from Birmingham, speaking of the north of England, Birmingham Airport. That's where Ozzy Osbourne's from, by the way, to Malaga Airport. So number 4 was Malaga Airport. And there was what they call in aviation terms and engineering terms, an explosive decompression. Creo que queda claro, ¿no? Decompresión de la presión se salió, and it was explosive. And they had to land. The good news is they landed. And there were no casualties. No había bajas, pérdidas. There were no casualties. They landed at Southampton Airport. And basically what happened was, this was in 1990. So it's not too long ago that this happened. And you know what? I'm realizing we don't have much time, but I'm going to tell you what happened on this flight. and how teamwork, how having really awesome coworkers working with you can not just, make your day, but also save your life. When people go above and beyond is what we'll call this. Cuando la gente da mucho más de lo que se espera de ellos. Hey, that's kind of like you guys. You always go above and beyond. All right, well, we'll find out more about Flight 5390 when we come back. Plus, we've got Double Trouble, Name That Movie, Name That Lyric, and so much more. So, stick around. Hey, amigos, welcome back. Welcome back. This is part 4 of today's show with no name on Vaughn Radio. Stay tuned because you've got Speaking with Confidence up next with Gretchen, our latest and greatest talent. Directamente, talento. That's what she is. And if you are a talented teacher, or you know a talented teacher, let us know. We'll bring them on board. Maybe not on the radio, but we're always looking for teachers. Why? Because we're always filling classes and courses. We've got new initiatives every year. We've got offices all over Spain, including Madrid, Barcelona, Bilbao, Vigo, Valladolid, Valencia, Santander, and Zaragoza. Where you at? Make some noise for my friends in all those amazing cities. We love you. That's why we're there. All right, amigos, are you ready to rock and roll? I hope so. Well, I know so. You've been rocking and rolling for the last hour and a half. We're going to kick things off with today's Double Trouble. I think it'll be an easy one. I could be wrong. But we shall see. Veremos. Are you ready for it? It's today's Double Trouble. Yeah.
Double trouble, baby. Yeah, you know what time it is. Give it up. Double trouble. I said double trouble. Double trouble. I said double Double trouble.
That's right, amigos. It's Double Trouble here on the show with no name. And today, I promise, it's really a double trouble. You don't have to use the same word 3 times or 4 times. Today, it's just twice. But good luck, because both of them today are what we call totally native. You got a totally native idiomatic expression mixed in with a totally native phrasal verb. So good luck. All right, here we go. Eres un lobo con piel de cordero. Eres un lobo con piel de cordero. Not a werewolf. That's hombre lobo. Solo, right, acuérdate que lobo sin el wer, pues, okay. Ahora ya, I'm helping you out here, okay? So, eres un lobo con piel de cordero. Y te dije que no devorases la sopa. Creo que lo he dicho bien. El tiempo verbal en español está bien. En inglés sé decirlo. En español digo, ¿devorases? Me suena como gay. Okay. Maybe I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys. The English, I usually know what I'm talking about. I don't know everything in English. Maybe in Australia they use words and things I don't know. But don't trust my Spanish is what I mean. As much as you may think, oh, you're a native speaker, still there are some things that escape me. All right, so eres un lobo con piel de cordero. O sea, no eres lo que aparentas, ¿no? Y te dije que no devorases la sopa. There is your double trouble. Good luck, amigos. We'll see if somebody can figure it out. Also, I'm going to give you the Say What soundbite. Here it is for the 4th and final time, a very famous comedian from Boston.
Somebody, for the love of God, what the fuck did that guy do? What did he do? He told other people what to invent? I want my entire music collection in that phone. Get on it!
¿Qué tiene que ver la Universidad de Oxford con Vaughan? Pues muchísimo. Es una alegría anunciar que Vaughan ha sido certificado como centro examinador de Oxford Test of English. A partir del próximo mes de marzo 2023, podrás hacer los exámenes de Oxford Test of English en los centros de Vaughan. Si quieres más información sobre esta iniciativa de Vaughan y Oxford, puedes ver más en nuestra página web, grupovaughan.com. O bien síguenos en redes sociales para más información. Oxford Test of English con Vaughan.
Brilliant!
That's right, folks. It is the Oxford Test of English, and it is here with Vaughn. You can get it done at any of our centers. If you want more information, all you have to do is just go over to our website, grupovaughn.com, or drop us a line on social media. You can send us a direct message or even comment on one of our posts and say, hey, oye, ¿podéis escribirme? Te quiero información sobre tal cosa. And they would be more than happy to give you that information. All right, let's take a look at what we've got. Let's see if anybody got today's double trouble over here. Chris Balrol says, you're a wolf in sheep's clothing. That's correct. You're a wolf in sheep's clothing. Okay. And that's the expression. Let's see part 2. And I told you not to wolf down the soup. Ladies and gentlemen, yes. It's kind of a wolf theme going on here, right? Well, remember, wolf, uno, wolves, dos, right? It's like knife and knives. So Chris says, engullir the soup, I would say. Bueno, aquí dice zampar, tragar, devorar, engullir. So is it incorrect? I've heard people say, has devorado. You don't use that? Is it incorrect? Okay, sorry. Well, it says it here too on word reference. Y juraría que lo oí por ahí. También decimos mucho en Madrid, quizás algo de la zona. En Madrid también, te zampaste, devoraste tal cosa, I've heard. right? The one I haven't heard is engullir, although I know it is a word, but that's not the one I've heard used in Madrid very often. So we don't say devorar. That's not a real thing? Okay. So you're a wolf in sheep's clothing. Daniela's participating too. She says you're a wolf in sheep's clothes. Let me see. I've never heard it that way. Wolf in sheep's clothing. A ver si ponen clothes. No, es que es raro porque como es frase hecha, aquí al menos no pone clothes. Yo siempre lo he oído con clothing, right? Ahí sí que sacamos la lengua para el TH, right? So you're a wolf in sheep's clothing. I told you not to wolf down the soup. Excellent job, Chris Valrol and Daniela. All right. Open Waters is taking a stab at today's Say What soundbite, and at first glance, it looks great. Good job. Wow, you guys are on it, right? Mira, get on it. Ponte con ello. Estás en ello. O sea, lo digo siempre, right? So there we go, my amigos. All right, what else? What else have we got here? We've got a lot of stuff we're covering here. Double Trouble is done. Say What soundbite is done. Oh, my goodness. All right, well, we've also got to tell you the story of British Airways Flight 5390. And basically, as I said before, the route, it was a Malaga bound, con destino a, apúntate esa. It was a Malaga bound flight, o sea, con destino a Málaga. It was departing from Birmingham. They don't say Birmingham, it's Ese ham para los británicos es Tottenham, not Tottenham, right? So Birmingham, England, and it was a plane that has 81 people on board, including passenger and crews, and at 23,000 feet. Si queráis saber los metros, calcula, pero vamos, muy alto. Normally, cruising altitude, I think, is 30,000 feet, so bastante alto. 23,000 feet, a cockpit windscreen, la ventanilla, one of those little windows blew out, right? Because the bolts, las tuercas, the bolts were not installed correctly. This is why maintenance is so important. You're trusting everybody. That plane goes through a lot of hands, and the maintenance crew in Dubai, and so you got to there's no margin for error, we know, once you're up there in the air. So what happened? Captain Tim Lancaster was partially sucked out of the plane. Okay, there's a photo. You can see a photo of this. If you Google Tim Lancaster pilot, you can see him hanging out. I mean, the only thing that's left in the plane is his feet. And that is because his legs got caught in the controls of the plane, in the yoke, el yugo. And he was being held. Now you're thinking, he got caught, but eventually that strong wind would suck him right out. And obviously there's only one thing that can happen there, sudden death. If you don't die because of the pressure change, you're going to die, because you hit the ground, right? It's not a good ending there. And so it's incredible. Again, you can take a look at a picture as I'm explaining it to you. And a flight attendant, the greatest flight attendant ever, going above and beyond his duty, Nigel Ogden, grabbed the captain, and he was able to do this. So this is all happening in the blink of an eye, in un plis plas, as we said before. And he grabbed the captain by the ankles, el comandante, and he held on to those ankles for 15 minutes so that the captain would not be sucked out of the plane and meet his death. And then the captain, obviously there were many, he had frostbite, shock, multiple fractures, roturas, but they were able to land the plane. The co-pilot, Alistair Atchison. So look at the crew there. Talk about your crew coming together. Because obviously if the co-pilot had him by the ankles, guess what? Who's landing the plane, right? So it was amazing that the flight attendant just happened to be in the cockpit when it happened and thought quickly, to think on your feet, como decimos, and grab the captain's ankles. And basically the co-pilot or the first officer took control. They landed safely at Southampton Airport, and when they landed, they were able to pull the pilot back into the plane. But obviously, he was distressed. He was injured, but nobody lost their lives. And again, the accident was caused by maintenance error. Okay, some bolts that they put in were too short. You don't take shortcuts with aviation, right? Y no llegaban. And so also, as we always say, these events, these tragic things, which didn't end up so tragic. I mean, think about it. The captain was flopping in the air at 23,000 feet, just imagine the trust he had. He was just thinking, come on, Nigel, use all your strength, Nigel, please, Nigel. Like, I could just imagine him thinking, oh my God, I'm still here, even though he was being smacked against the plane. I mean, it wasn't a pleasure cruise, but he did survive. And again, what happened after this? Well, proper maintenance procedures and safety checks, they got more strict. And they said, all right, guys, let's see. We got to make sure that this never happens again. And again, it's probably one of the most remarkable stories of survival and teamwork in the world, not just in aviation. And you can find it. There's a documentary, Air Crash Investigation, El Mayday, el programa este de los moments from disaster. There's an episode called Blowout, and you can see the whole story. But wow, incredible. You could make a movie about that story. Now, I know there are documentaries, but I don't think, as far as I know, there is no movie about it yet. Well, we do have a movie today in Name That Movie.
Name that movie.
That's right, amigos. It's Name That Movie, only on the show with no name. All right, here we go. Hopeless dweeb. Palabrón. Lo decíamos siempre en mi instituto. Hopeless dweeb Elliot Richards is granted 7 wishes. Concedido, no del contexto. 7 wishes by the devil to snare Allison, the girl of his dreams, in exchange for his soul, su alma. Whoa. Sounds pretty hardcore. So a hopeless, uno que no tiene esperanza de nada, a hopeless dweeb. A dweeb es un nerd, un petardo, you say in Spanish. Este tío es un petardo. He's a dweeb. Aquí me pone petardo, que sí que es una palabra que he oído aquí en Madrid. So a hopeless dweeb, Elliot Richards, is granted, concedido, 7 wishes by the devil to snare Allison. Now, obviously, Allison is the girl's name, but snare is to trap, cazar, atrapar, right? To snare Allison. And then it says, the girl of his dreams, la chica de sus sueños, in exchange for his soul, su alma. Ladies and gentlemen, give it up for Chris Valrol. The movie is called Bedazzled. Bedazzled, that's right. And if you are bedazzled, deslumbrado. We were bedazzled by their performance, deslumbrado. Excellent movie. If you haven't seen it, I've got to say, I saw it many more times than I should have, but I can't help it. No lo puedo evitar para usar la estructura. Elizabeth Hurley. Oh, my God. Elizabeth Hurley. It also stars Brendan Fraser, and it was directed by Harold Ramis, one of the Ghostbusters, who's also a director as well, the original Ghostbusters. Chris says, Al diablo con el diablo. Okay. Well, in English, we call it Bedazzled, and we can learn from the title and also the summary. Let's take a look at the scene. Elliot says, I can't handle this kind of rejection. No soporto este tipo de rechazo. I can't handle this kind of rejection. What do you want me to say? ¿Qué quieres que digo? No, perdona, lo he leído mal. Why don't you want to stay? ¿Por qué no rima? ¿Por qué no te quieres quedar? Why don't you want to stay? And Allison says, you want to know why, Elliot? Because you're just too sensitive. Sensiblón. Not sensible, sensato. You're too sensitive. And I'm about to go out of my mind. Voy a perder los estribos, la cabeza. It's been wonderful. And God knows I love you. But enough is enough. Pero basta ya. I just want to be with a man who will ignore me. Pasar de mí. And take me for granted. To take for granted is dar por sentado, infravalorar. Who's only pretending to be interested in who I am and what I think so he can get into my pants. And to get into somebody's pants is to fornicate with them. So, yeah, there you go. Hey, did you ever know that you could learn so much from the movie Bedazzled, a movie that came out, can you believe this, 25 years ago? And you know what? Elizabeth Hurley doesn't look a day older. It's incredible. She's only gotten better with age. All right, amigos, time for some jokes.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, what did the guy say when he walked into the bar? Ouch. Ouch. You get it? Ouch. He walked into the bar. You're joking.
All right, my amigos, some airplane jokes for you today. Let's see if you get them. What do you call paper planes that can't fly? Stationary. No? Stationary? All right, well, stationary, estacionado, inmóvil, inerte, right? Stacionari, con A-R-E, A-R-Y. But also we have stationery, which is productos de papel, material de papelería. Okay, so writing materials. Y esa es E-R-Y, pero suenan igual, right? So that stationery, E-R-Y, store, esa tienda de papelería, has been stationary for years, right? Stationary, so you get it now? What do you call paper planes that can't fly? Stationary. Okay, the next one. Did you hear about the pilot who always had work? Yeah, he was never out of work in El Paro. Yeah, well, he was great at landing a job. Landing a job, to land, aterrizar. But also, conseguir un trabajo, we say to land a job. ¿Te lo sabías? There you go, a totally native expression. All right, what do you call an airplane that flies backward? And I'm going to use my Birmingham accent here. What do you call an airplane? Para que funcione muy bien el chiste. What do you call an airplane? That was Irish. I'll give you the answer in Birmingham. What do you call an airplane that flies backwards? A receding airline. A receding hairline, las entradas. Pero hay gente en Inglaterra que la H se lo comen. A receding airline, mate. You got a receding airline. Se comen la H de receding hairline y suena a línea aérea. Thanks, folks. I'll be here all week with more jokes for you. But right now, it's time for famous birthday trivia.
Birthdays for you. Birthdays for me. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name. It's birthdays for him. Birthdays for her. Birthdays for everyone on the show with no name.
All right, let's go. All aboard for famous birthdays. Number one, this English model, actress, and producer was born today in 1965. She played the devil in Bedazzled. Wait, you mean The movie we just looked at. Yeah, the one that I said. She was also in Austin Powers. She played Vanessa Kensington and Passenger 57. Hey, we're linking it back to aviation here as well. She is probably one of the most beautiful people to ever walk the earth. IMO, in my opinion, and still at her age now, 1965 she was born. Number 2, you wouldn't have the blues without this staple, este esencial. His real name, Chester Arthur Burnett, but nobody called him that. They called him El Lobo Aullando, or El Lobo que aulla. No, El Lobo Aullando. All right. That's his nickname. We looked at the word lobo before, too. We said a wolf in sheep's clothing. We said to wolf down, to eat or drink something quickly, right? Es inhalarlo, viene a decir, which también lo he oído. Lo has inhalado. We say the same thing. So, ves, no somos tan diferentes. And last but not least, a very popular stand-up comic, perhaps one of the most famous ones right now in the United States and worldwide. I know he does tours in London and everywhere. He is from Boston, and you got to check him out. He's funny. Now, he doesn't play nice. So, like if you get offended easily, don't watch his stuff. But if you like to laugh and you like this kind of humor that's sarcastic, and he's got his own style. I mean, many comedians have had that. But if you mix his accent with his look, with the stuff he talks about, it's, I got to say something. I used to listen to his podcast, but he talked about sports too much. So I'm not a fan of his podcast because I'm like, well, I don't watch the NFL. So I'm lost for 20 minutes, right? But I do love his comedy. All right, today's birthday boys and girls. Number 1, Elizabeth Hurley. Number 2, Howlin' Wolf. Howlin' Wolf. If you haven't heard his music, give it a listen. And number 3, comedian from Boston, Bill Burr. And here's Bill Burr in today's Say What soundbite. He's talking about Steve Jobs. Like he doesn't understand why everybody worships the guy. He goes, somebody, for the love of God, what the fuck did that guy do? ¿Qué gran cosa hizo este tío? What did he do? ¿Qué hizo? What did he do? He told other people what to invent. He says, I want my entire music collection in that phone. Get on it. Ahora ponte con ello. So here he is, comedian Bill Burr.
Somebody, for the love of God, what the fuck did that guy do? What did he do? He told other people what to invent? I want my entire music collection in that phone. Get on it!
All right, excellent job, everybody. Wow, time really does fly when you're having fun. We're going to say goodbye with a Howlin' Wolf classic. That's right, to celebrate this essential bluesman's collection. It's called Down in the Bottom. En el fondo. Here he is, Howlin' Wolf. Thank you so much, everybody. And we'll be back tomorrow with more, I promise. Ciao for now. Woo-hoo. Come on. Yee-hoo-hoo. Come on now.